Hi folks, Aaron here. Welcome back to an anime review. Today we are looking at Owari no Seraph Part 1 or Seraph of the End Part 1. Now, this series actually split into two parts. It came out in 2015, and the thing was that I've only now gotten around to watching it. I know a lot of people have always told me to check it out at least. I've also had people say, avoid your time. Avoid wasting your time, I should say. And the thing is, though, is that I saw the scores for it originally, and I saw that it was getting like mixed scores. Most people gave it around a 7, some people gave it around a 8, but the aggregate score on Mal for both Part 1 and Part 2 are around a little over 7. And that made me go, well, maybe it's not anything worthwhile. And the time, the first part was kind of expensive. I didn't really want to spend like $50 for it. When Right Stuff had a sale finally, which was last Christmas at this point, I bought both Part 1 and Part 2 for $25 each. So I was like, might as well watch it, right? And lo and behold, I love this. I loved it. I think what's interesting about it is my history with Owari no Seraph isn't something where I'm completely, I want to say, ignorant of it, because I had actually bought the light novels, which are the story before the series, actually starts. So they're prequel of sorts, following one of the characters that's in Owari no Seraph, but he's not really a main character per se. But it follows Gurren Ichinose, and I remember reading that story and loving that story. I thought that was very interesting, and I still didn't get into the anime until just recently. And then I bought the game, and the game, by the way, in case you guys are wondering about it, is not in English. It is all in Japanese, but it's one of those tactical RPGs, so I can play for the most part and understand what I'm doing just because I know how the systems work for those games. So yeah, I can't read any Japanese whatsoever. It's not like I'm actually pretending like, oh, I know kanji now. No, I have no idea how to read it, but I know how to play it just because it's the same format as stuff like Final Fantasy Tactics, etc. So I'm used to those type of games, and I can play from that. But when I started playing it, I noticed that it was a basically clone of the anime from what I hear. It's supposed to be like the anime in a format of a game, but with like side stories and stuff like that, because you can actually, I want to say quote unquote romance characters and stuff like that, but I did want to then now watch the anime when I got that, so I was like, you know what, perfect time. I'm playing the game, I don't want to spoil myself too much, I want to understand why these characters are doing whatever they're doing in the game. So, by the way, if you guys hear the noise outside, they're fixing a giant pothole in front of my apartment, so I do apologize for that in advance, but with the time of playing the game, I wanted to actually get into the story, so I wanted to make sure that I wasn't completely lost. I'm glad I did, because I'll tell you right now, Part 1 does not deserve on Mal a 7.64, I think it is right now currently. Not at all. I will say that right now. This will not be something that even comes close to a C in my mind, and I'll explain why that is. Now, in case you are completely oblivious to Owari no Seraph, I'll give you guys a rundown of some concepts of it and the story, etc. So Owari no Seraph is actually produced by Studio Wit. It's a manga series that's been adapted into anime format, obviously. Wit Studios is known for doing, I want to say, Attack on Titan, Ancient Magus Bride, etc. And so, it's a team that, for the most part, you could usually see their animation being a certain way, and I love their animation, so I'll say that right now. Owari no Seraph has some great animation, but I'll talk about that a little more after I get through the synopsis. But the story is essentially mankind is facing a grave crisis of sorts, where we are seeing this virus spread out through the land of Japan especially, but also apparently, according to the story, the world too, where all these people are being affected that are over the age of 16 are immediately killed for some reason. And the thing is that the vampire race all of a sudden swoops in and says, we'll save you guys, we'll save the kids and teenagers, etc., but you have to become our livestock, or essentially our source of food, aka their source of blood. Now, our story then switches gears to we follow a character named Yu, and we also follow his family, like Mikhaila and several other characters who are little kids. And the thing is that trying to escape from the place at one point, which I'm not going to spoil everything about that, but they too try to escape and stuff happens. Yu's the only one to get away, and lo and behold, when he gets away, he finds out that a lot of the things that they've been told about the virus aren't fully true. Like, they're not going to die immediately if they're under the age or over the age of 16, etc. It's just how it was at the time that they used the virus to kill people off at that age. So our time then skips ahead where we see Yu now a teenager. I think he's like now 16 or 17 years old, and he is trying to like learn how to fight against the vampires, and he's really willing to do so. But what's interesting though is that's where the story starts shifting gears, where we start getting into more action-packed stuff and drama stuff. You know, a lot of people have been saying Owari no Seraph is, you know, the typical vampire thing. You know, you have, I want to say those kind of Yuri undertones sometimes, either yaoi undertones, because a lot of vampire anime tend to have this thing where they have characters that are both males kind of getting together, or they have very effeminate type characters. And, you know, I don't know why people are so surprised by that. Vampires have always been put into that kind of role in modern day society, where vampires are not picky about what race they get with, because for them it's just the vampire. You know, they don't care about oh, it's a male or female. It's just more so, are you a vampire too? And that goes in lore with actually even stuff from the way back when vampires were first conceived. It's not that they just choose women to go after. I mean, in terms of movies, you saw that in the past where it was just always women they would go after. But then in stuff like Twilight, etc., you see that they're not just always like that. They're, you know, supposed to be like effeminate type characters, etc. So it's not really per se a surprise that you have stuff like this in more modern vampire movies and anime, etc. But I do understand why people are kind of hesitant on it. You know, they're like, oh, I don't want to watch this. It's got guys, you know, being a little too close. First part, I'll tell you right now, if in case you were worried about that, nothing happens that's creepy or something like that. There is this in the Blu-rays. If you get the Blu-rays, there is some extra scenes where they have like jokes surrounded by these characters like hitting on one another and stuff like that, because they know it's kind of the concept of it. But there's no Yuri or yaoi stuff in this show. Don't worry, you're not going to see anything if you're not into that. You know, if you're into it, I mean, you probably like that certain characters are effeminate. Like in Mikhaila, for example, the way he acts sometimes is a little fruity sometimes, his character, you know, it's not, at least initially, and then he gets a little more serious when he becomes an older guy. But, you know, I can understand why some people are turned off by that. You know, I think that people sometimes, though, need to take a step back and go, you know what, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, in anime, it's not a big deal. You know, just watch the anime. If you like it, you like it. I mean, I'm watching Citrus, for example, right now currently, so it's like, you know, Citrus is something that's basically a Yuri show, but there's nothing wrong per se how it is. It's a fine show to me. But anyways, besides the whole point, besides that melodrama to that, you know, I really will say the story for the first part is actually really good. There were some really nice tense moments. I love some of the relationships that we're seeing with our characters. I'm not gonna, like I said, spoil anything. You know, I want you guys to enjoy it yourselves. I know it's old, but for some of you might have just now thought about it or even thought of watching it. I know someone on my Twitter recently said they're just now gonna watch it too because I watched it, and I know several people who just started doing reactions, like Memory NK. He did a reaction thing for it for a little while. He's planning on doing more of it, but right now he's watching other shows too, so it's kind of the back burner. But you know, it's something that, listen, it's not that old that you can't get into it. Trust me, the animation's solid. I love the animation for it. I love the characters for it. I love the story for it so far. You know, the first season really, it makes you want to watch the second part. I'm really that pumped to watch the second part now from the first season. So, yeah, like I said before, the animation, though, is definitely one of the better things about the show, and besides even the story. It looks really nice. I love the character models. They're very, you know, they have the typical atypical anime stuff where you have purple hair, black hair, you know, orange hair, etc. But the way everyone's animated, I love how everyone looks different in their own right, and the character models in general, when they move around, it just looks natural. I think Wit Studio, or you know, is just in general, they always kind of do that very well with their characters. They make these very strong definitions with characters, and they really know how to do that. I mean, just look at Ancient Magus Bride, or even the newer season of Attack on Titan. You can kind of tell that, you know, there's definitely better stuff now with their studio, but this is still a great example of some of the work that they can do. In terms of music, that's where I want to really talk about the show, and voice acting too. I saw some of the Japanese dub. I saw the show primarily in English dub. I know, don't kill me about that. I just like the English dub for it. I know a lot of the actors for it. You know, the thing is that I love the English dub. I think it's great. The Japanese dub is perfectly fine too. I actually love the characters in that too. But the thing is what steals it, besides even all that, is the music. Hiroyuki Sawano, who already is legend for everything he does, opening for the first season. I mean, I know the second part, or the second, you know, part of the first season changes the song, but the first opening and the first ending, you know, just in general, I know the endings did not Hiroyuki Sawano, someone else, but they're incredible. Like, I legit never once skipped the opening, and that is a rarity for me. And the ending song, I only skipped like a few times when I just wanted to get to the next episode because I'm like, oh, I need to see what happened next. And it's very rare a show makes me do that. Like, if I really legit love an ending song, it's hard for me to then skip it. But at the same token, it's like a show that makes you want to watch the next episode. It's hard to just go, oh no, I'm good, you know. You know, there's nothing to say that I disliked about the show, honestly. I love the characters, I love the story, I loved everything about it. And is it perfect? No, I don't think it's perfect. I think that there was a little bit of an issue, I think, at one part with the series where some of the animation felt like it was reused, and especially during the last couple episodes where I noticed that they were really doing that, where they were restarting the part like you saw already the last couple minutes of the, or couple episodes, actually, last couple of seconds of the episode. I couldn't speak for a second, I apologize for that. But they kept reusing it in the episode, and I was like, why are you guys doing that? And then even worse was that, like, when this giant battle was occurring, you had it where it was all still images, essentially. I was like, oh, come on, man, don't show an epic fight scene as still images. No, that's terrible. You can't do that, you know? It kills the momentum of a battle. Like, you want to see all these guys fighting, you want to see all their different powers being activated, and their curse gear, as the weapons that they use in the show are called. You know, you want to see that, and then lo and behold, half of them are still frame images. It's like, no, that's not a good way of doing it. No, so it's not perfect. It's definitely not, you know, the best thing I've ever seen in terms of that. But up to that part, I think it was pretty damn good. That's why if I had to rate Owari no Seraph or Seraph of the End Part 1 between an A through F, I'm gonna give it an A. I think it deserves that. And I gave it a 9 on Mal, and I know some people might be going, what? That's really high. Guess what? I'll let you guys comment that in the comments below. Tell me what you think about Owari no Seraph if you saw it. Please avoid spoilers because, like I said, I haven't finished the second part as of now. I haven't even started it. I plan on starting it probably today or later today or maybe even tomorrow. But you know, I do want to start it up soon, so don't spoil anything. You know, you can say like, oh, you'll be surprised with something that's coming up or something like that. You can do that, but don't do anything. And also, for the people who haven't watched it yet, don't spoil it, okay? Anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Hopefully you enjoyed this kind of, I want to say, flashback review of sorts. Have a great day, everyone. God bless you all. Until our paths cross again in the next review. If you like my review, you know to hit the subscribe button, share the video, like the video, check out my Patreon, etc. Bye-bye, everyone.